Hey, don't you just love it when the government tells you to not believe your lying eyes? In this video, we're going to talk about 6 reasons that maybe you should get excited about the coming recession, right? Now, the government's official inflation numbers, I have in my notes here, is really low. It's a joke. Have you ever heard of the Consumer Price Index? Did you know the Consumer Price Index, the thing that the White House is always saying, oh, the inflation is actually manageable and this and that? The way that they calculate these statistics is completely disingenuous, and it's not based in reality. It's political showmanship, and it's a joke, and it's actually for both political parties. Let me ask you a question. You know, whether you think we're going to have a recession or we're not, and there's people on both sides, have you noticed that things are weird? Have you noticed that things are changing? Have you noticed that your checking account is going lower compared to what it was a year ago, especially 2 years ago, right? Egg prices, food prices, energy prices, your vendor prices, depending on the kind of business you have, everybody's raising prices. It can be a scary thing. But I will tell you this, there's going to be massive opportunity for people that are awake, that use their brain, are thinking thoughts like this right now instead of pretending like it's not happening. Hey, welcome to the War Plan Briefing. My name is Joshua Latimer. I've built and sold 4 companies and coached over 1,000 entrepreneurs over the last 10 years, and I'm hoping that I can help you go faster, because if you're a small family business owner that loves God, family, country, and capitalism, this YouTube channel is totally for you. So let me get my notes. 6 reasons to get excited for the recession. According to the government, the federal unemployment rate is like around 3-point-something%, which is like a joke too, because these stats are not true, right? Have you found it really, really easy to recruit and hire people, right? It's not because unemployment rates are low. It's because people have government assistance, and a lot of people have given up. And I'm not a pessimistic. I'm a irrationally optimistic person most of the time, but you know, math is the path and numbers don't lie. Now, the way you interpret those numbers can make it a lie, but if we use our brain and use logic, we can see that things are funky, right? So here's the deal. One of the reasons that it's going to probably be okay for you during the recession is if you sell your stuff to affluent customers. You got to understand that affluent people are affected way less than everybody else with economic ups and downs, right? They're not going to panic because, you know, their stock portfolio goes from 6.2 million down to 5.1 million, whereas other people who are living in their McMansion with the car they can't afford and they're spending all of their paycheck and they get laid off, yeah, those people, they're fake affluent people. So this is an encouragement for you to reposition your brand, if you haven't already, to target wealthier people. There's lots of them. Did you know there's millions of millionaires? If you didn't grow up with money, you have this false belief that it's like really rare to have resources. And depending on what market you're in, there's always people that have massive disposable income, that value services and goods and products and all this stuff. And when you're in panic mode, not everybody else is, right? So if we're targeting affluent customers, or you already are, that's one reason you should be excited. Another reason is that there's less competition on the aftermath and during a recession. There's less competition because, you know, one of the things I like to tell people is that recessions don't create failures, they expose them. And that sounds really harsh and mean, but it's true, right? Like, I heard this from my friend Nicholas Bayerly. He said, pressure doesn't create cracks, it exposes them. Right? Isn't that powerful? Like when the squeeze gets put on, it just breaks certain people because they're not ready. You know, when the economy is roaring, there's so much organic demand. You don't even have to be good at your stuff to still like make a living. When things tighten up and shrink, the good companies that are following up, they have good systems, they have a good culture, the business owners know what they're doing, they're going to be okay. But there's like tons of other companies that are going to just disappear, and that creates opportunity for you. You know, getting lean in your own company is kind of the second big opportunity, in the sense that this is an opportunity for you to only spend money on mission critical expenses. You know, all of us get this subscription bloat over time. You know, you buy something on a Facebook ad, you sign up for some weird health drink, and everybody's got you on an auto ship, and then you have 17 softwares you don't need, and God knows whatever else. This is a good time to just do a simple pull up your sleeves audit of your auto reoccurring billing and get lean, because it's healthy to do that. It's good to purge things, right? The human body, when you go on a fast, it goes into a state of autophagy, where it starts eating its own dead waste and stuff. And it's really good. We need your business to do that. If you want to win during the recession, go do that, right? If you're targeting affluent people and then you get lean and there's less competition, we're not even halfway through the list, and things are already repositioning themselves in your favor. Can you see it? It's exciting stuff, honestly. The other big benefit is that there's less advertisers. You know, a big mistake that people cannot emotionally resist making is they stop marketing when times are hard. When their phone rings less, they pull back. And with local service companies, I see this all the time. Most people doing less than $1 million a year, they market backwards. And what that means is during the busy times when everyone wants their stuff, yeah, they have a little confidence and they'll spend some money on marketing. But then when it dries up, they just stop completely. They have no strategy. It's not good, right? It doesn't make sense, right? So during the Great Depression, there's case study after case study of companies that bit the bullet, advertised, doubled down on it, took all the market share during the aftermath of the Great Depression. And this happens on a micro scale too, right? So if you are doing flyers and direct mail and you're smart with it and you're doing it and you double down on it, but you get smarter with your targeting and the timing and the messages and the offers, and you answer your phone in 1 ring instead of 4 rings, if we do these little things, everybody else is going to pull back their advertising. Yours is going to be the only one left. Plus you're targeting affluent people and you're going to absolutely freaking crush it. You know, I actually launched my first local service business during the Great Recession of 2007 and 2008. That's when I started, but I didn't even know any of this stuff back then. And we just grew, right? So there's so much opportunity still. Another benefit and a reason to be excited are the acquisition opportunities. So as your competition vanishes, you can buy their assets. You can buy their customer list. Think of this. What if you got 4 or 5 of your smaller competitors and you started contacting them now, okay, while they're still in business, and maybe by next spring, half of them are gone. But you contact them now saying, hey, if you ever want to get out of the business, give me a call. You know, we're always looking to buy. You can buy their phone number, their website, any kind of assets they have at discount fire sale prices, a lot of times for nothing. You can buy a whole customer list of 800 customers and you only pay them a small percentage of each customer that actually converts and comes over to your company. And you can do this stuff with no cash, and you can gobble up and absorb some of these other people that are asleep at the wheel, which is super awesome. And it's an opportunity for you. The next thing is that there's more money for home improvements during a recession, oftentimes, because people aren't buying the next house. They're not moving into their dream house yet, especially with interest rates being really high. The Feds just raised them again like last week. Depending on what happens with that, as the housing market kind of cools off, right? In certain parts of the country, it already has in a big way. Other parts are still going because there's so much demand. But what happens is people will still spend money making the house that they're in nicer. You know, it's funny, before you sell your house, what do we all do? We paint the walls, we clean everything up, we replace the carpet, like we do all this stuff that we totally enjoy, but we do it for the next person that's going to buy it right before we leave. Well, when people don't leave, they still want to have nice things. Instead of getting the nice new house with the overpriced interest rate, they're just going to reinvest in the man cave and cleaning things up and fixing things up and stuff like that. This is documented. You can go online. There's all kinds of studies about this, actually. It's a fascinating thing because certain pockets in the economy are counter-cyclical to a recession. This is one of them. So with home services specifically, not all of them, but a lot of them, they're counter-cyclical, meaning people spend more money on certain types of services when times are hard. Isn't that weird? Think about like liquor and tobacco stocks. Those stock prices go up when people are in pain and things are bad. Those are also counter-cyclical. But home renovation companies, remodelers, cleaning companies, contractors of various kinds, their stock price metaphorically goes up too when there's weird stuff happening with real estate in the economy. And then last but not least, there's going to be more talent, right? I think a lot of people have given up on the workforce. In the beginning, I talked about how the government lies about unemployment. One of the ways that they lie about the true unemployment rate is they don't count people who aren't looking for a job. If there's X amount of people, that could work and should work, able-bodied people that could work, they don't use this to figure out unemployment. They take off, the 25 million people that aren't even trying anymore. They're just dyeing their hair blue and eating Hot Pockets in their grandma's basement or something. Those people aren't even in the stat. They're only counting the people that have a job and are currently actively looking. And after a certain amount of months, they move them into this other category. They don't count it, right? Don't count it. So we do have an increasing number of people that don't even want to work, But I will say, out of the pool that's left, you know, as companies lay people off, like Amazon and I think Microsoft, I think Facebook laid off like 10,000 people or more. It's happening, right? So it creates more labor to hopefully come work for you. It loosens things up a little bit, and that could also be another big opportunity. You know, it's scary out there, but I choose not to live in fear. You know, the Bible says to fear not. It says it over and over and over. It says to be anxious for nothing. And it's easier said than done sometimes, but it's still good advice. But we still should be educated and know what's going on. You know, Bloomberg, you know, the news company, their economic model predicts that we have a 100% chance of going into a recession. And they could be wrong. You know, I don't know what's going to happen, but it doesn't look good. Ned Davis Research, which is another think tank, says there's a 98.1% chance we're going into a global recession, and we want to prepare ahead of time, guys. The yield curve for bonds is inverted right now, which is like a telltale kind of bellwether sign of a coming recession. And what that means is interest rates pay higher yields on short-term bonds than they do on long-term. That means people don't want their money tied up for a long time. They only will tie it up for a little bit of time because they're freaked out. They don't trust what's happening, and they want to be able to liquidate and move and make moves and all this stuff. So we don't have to be a total nerd with this. But there has been 5 bank failures just in 2023 in the United States as of the recording of this. I don't want you to panic. I want you to focus on the reasons you could get excited. And I'll just recap the list as we end the video. Affluent people are affected less, so market yourself upstream, reposition your brand and your offers to attract those people. There's going to be less competition during a recession. Getting lean is a good opportunity to get lean, cut unnecessary expenses, be responsible and prudent with your expenses. There's going to be less advertisers. And as a side note, I should have put this in here. There's going to be cheaper media because there's less advertisers, especially with digital marketing. Most, Google AdWords and Facebook runs on a bid system. So if there's less people buying media, the price goes down. And we're already seeing that in a lot of industries. We also have acquisition opportunities, which is super awesome if you start contacting these people now. There's more money spent on home improvements if you have a home improvement style business, and there's potentially going to be more talent so you can ramp up your recruiting efforts, or you can be more choosy and picky. You don't just have to hire anybody with a pulse off the street like maybe you've had to do for the last couple of years. So, hey, I hope this is interesting. I hope it's challenging you to think different. I hope it's educating you, giving you confidence. You got this. You are my people. This channel exists to serve people like you, and I hope that that's what it's doing. If you have a comment, want to tell me your story, type it in the comments. I hope that you like this, share it, hit the bell, actually subscribe to it. It means a lot to me and my team and Will, the camera guy. What's up, Will? Hey, Will. I'll see you in the next video.